The history and importance of the United States Marine Corps. The United States Marine Corps dates all the way back to the founding of the Continental Marines on November 10th of 1775. On this date, the Continental Congress approved the resolution to establish 2 Marine battalions able to fight for independence both at sea and on shore. Many years later, on July 11th, 1798, Congress passed a law organizing the Navy's Marines as a Corps of Marines. Their level of availability is the reason that the United States Marine Corps has served in nearly every conflict in the United States history. The USMC is ranked as the most prestigious military service in America. Since 1775, the Marine Corps has grown, and the men that serve in this unit believe in nothing more than their undying faith of the superiority of the U.S. Marine Corps. This faith has made Marines one of the greatest American powers. Marines have enforced such rigid boundaries between themselves and everyone else, so they learn to develop a bond with the men in their own cultural universe. The bond and emotional commitment these men have to one another is remarkable. In every obstacle that these men face, they are part of a team working together to achieve a common goal. This Marine Corps spirit is what influenced the motto of the Marines, Semper Fidelis. Semper Fidelis means always faithful, and goes along with every aspect of becoming and being a United States Marine. It is said that nobody can fully understand the difficulty of Marine Corps recruit training without experiencing it firsthand. When my brother came home from boot camp a few weeks ago, he backed that statement up completely. Over time, the training to be a United States Marine has changed and developed into the challenge that it is today. The reputation of making it through Marine Corps recruit training is highly deserved and earned through 12 weeks of intense training. This 12 weeks of basic training is the most rigorous of all branches of the U.S. military. The end of this training is called the Crucible. The Crucible was first introduced in 1996 as a way to make training tougher and to help the recruits learn how to rely on one another. In this final phase, the men are tested using every skill that they have learned along the way and must pull together as one in order to make it through. Win as one or all will fail. Recruit training is more than just a physical challenge. Recruits must learn to make the right decisions quickly, confidently, and in any situation. In combat, the lives of Marines and civilians depend on it. They will be tested on everything they learn, both on paper and in practical application. The staff sergeants of these recruits repeatedly take them to the brink of exhaustion to test their commitment. These moments of truth not only separate the capable from the unable, they build exceptional strength, stamina, and confidence in those who find a way within themselves to continue. This training to become a United States Marine is called boot camp. Boot camp trains recruits mentally, physically, and morally while shifting their character into one involving honor, courage, commitment, and core values. By incorporating these values into their basic training, Marines are made into better American citizens in society after they return home from service. There are 2 basic training locations for the U.S. Marines: the Recruit Training Depot at Parris Island, South Carolina, and the Recruit Training Depot in San Diego, California. Recruits arrive in boot camp how they are. They can't bring any bags or personal items into the training facility. After arriving at boot camp, the recruits are put into groups called platoons. Each platoon has a leader known as the guide, and a few squad leaders to help control the rest of the platoon. Platoons have about 60 to 75 recruits in them. These men are the ones you're with every single day. My brother was the guide for his platoon and was faced with an overwhelming amount of responsibility. Every time someone in his platoon messed up, the staff sergeants came to him. No mistakes are tolerated. During boot camp, the recruits learned about courtesy, discipline, and the history and traditions of the United States Marines. A basic day in the life of a recruit during boot camp begins with them waking up to a very loud alarm every morning at 4 a.m. Depending on the phase of boot camp they are in, their daily routines vary. These men regularly go through physical training, marksmanship and field training, drill, and water survival. The day ends and the recruits are in bed at 8 p.m. resting for what the next day has in store. All of this intense, non-stop training greatly benefits all of the recruits. They know not only how to defend themselves and fight in combat, but they are made into more disciplined men in general, and are able to act like a United States Marine. They are taught valuable lessons that they keep with them for the rest of their lives, and have positive attributes such as confidence, commitment, and discipline drilled into their heads. They are much better prepared for any situation that can be thrown at them in their lives or in combat. A very important aspect taken away from the training at boot camp is responsibility. Every Marine is responsible for themselves and the men by their sides. The bonds these men form keep them close and always give them a reason to keep going. The official United States Marine Corps first appeared in combat during the Revolutionary War. The Treaty of Paris in April of 1783 brought an end to this war, and as the last of the Navy ships were sold, the Continental Navy and Marines went out of existence. Following the Revolutionary War era and the formal reestablishment of the Marine Corps on July 11, 1798, Marines saw action in the Quasi War in France, landed in Santo Domingo, and took part in many operations against Barbary pirates along the shores of Tripoli. The USMC also saw action during the War of 1812, which ended up leading to a growing interest for the Marines in protecting American interests around the world. At this point, the United States Marine Corps has been involved in nearly every American conflict in our history. World War I was where the Marines really distinguished themselves on the battlefield. One brigade even earned the title Devil Dogs for their heroic actions. During the decades leading up to World War II, the Marine Corps began to develop an earnest doctrine, equipment, and organization needed for amphibious warfare. The success of this effort was proven in many places such as Guam, Iwo Jima, New Britain, and many more. By the end of the war in 1945, the Marine Corps had grown to include 6 divisions, 5 air wings, and supporting troops. Its strength in World War II peaked 485,113. The war cost Marines nearly 87,000 dead and wounded, and 82 Marines had earned the Medal of Honor. The World Wars were what really proved the growing power and strength of this unit. United States Marines were also extremely involved in wars in Korea and Vietnam. The Vietnam War is considered the longest war in Marine Corps history due to the high cost and devastating numbers of wounded and dead. The United States Marine Corps is still involved in every conflict our country goes through today. The strength and will of these men is what keeps them going and protecting America from all over the world. The training and commitment that these men have is what caused the USMC to easily become the most prestigious military unit of our nation. By Congress, the purpose of the Marines is to always be the rapid response force for our nation. The Corps is known to be most ready when the nation is least ready. This is the reason that the training to become a United States Marine is so tough. It is like this so that Marine ranks are filled only with men who hold themselves to the highest regards in terms of character and dedication. Semper Fidelis distinguishes the Marine Corps bond from any other. It goes beyond teamwork. It is a brotherhood that can always be counted on. Becoming a Marine is a transformation that cannot be undone, and Semper Fidelis is a permanent reminder of that. Once made, a Marine will forever live by the ethics and values of the Corps. The missions of the United States Marine Corps have definitely changed over time, but what has remained the same since November 10th of 1775 is the undying commitment to protect the lives of citizens, the interests of our nation, and our newly found brothers.
He's gonna send him real quick, you understand? Yes, sir. As soon as you get on that plane and you're on your way to Afghanistan, you understand? Yes, sir. Let's do it! Dirty weapon! Get up there now! Look down. That's rust. Automatic weapons failure. Get to the Ryan, Russ. Get to the Roger and Rush. I can see talking port arms too. Get on your face.
It's all oriented towards, we orient it towards combat. You know, because hey, if you've been told to do something, you're told to move or do something, and you don't do it, people can lose lives.
I think that the end product, the end state, making a Marine, that's the most rewarding feeling that I think any drill instructor can say that they've experienced, someone that can say that they've actually felt what it felt like, felt the goosebumps when they watched their recruits walk across the parade deck.